your staff and the players. Has everybody gotten more comfortable with the substitutions and the rotation pattern, and everybody can kind of expect what's going to come next depending on the opponent?
Yeah, I think so for the most part. I think we're all settling in more. Offensively the other night, like, I didn't really call play. We were able to play in our flow, which we had not been able to do for a long time. I wanted to do that early on, but we just were a little bit choppy with it. So it was more set plays, and we've done that more through December and January. And then, last couple of games we've been able to kind of flow a little bit better, and that's just playing off of each other, playing off of our reads. They know where each other's going to be on both ends of the floor, because it matters on defense too. Obviously I've been asked a lot about that. Like, when guys can get to a certain point, they've played enough games and enough minutes together and getting enough reps together, they kind of know each other's movements, right? I can kind of see, like, all right, like, I can see he's itching. He's probably he's going to try and make a play here, so I got to make sure that I'm there to back him up. Where early in the year, we'd have two guys crossing paths and run into each other. And you'd be like, all right, like, that doesn't happen. And, it was at my son's third grade game yesterday, and that might have happened. But you're trying to get used to each other and kind of read each other's minds a little bit and see each other's movements and say, all right, like, I know what he's about to do with the ball or on the defensive end or off the ball. So, yes, I think we're all a little more comfortable each day, with that, with each other and with the system and with the expectation that comes along with playing in this program.
Is the communication piece on the defensive end a big part of that? I thought back over these last couple games to you early in the season saying we're kind of speaking a different language on that end of the floor. Are they starting to speak the same language at this point in the season?
Yeah, and I think we have been for a while, for a little while anyway. Now the next level is that, like, unspoken communication, what I was just talking about. Like, where I can tell, like, all right, I can see Zach's itching, like he's about to shoot a passing lane here, right? He's about to shoot a gap, or he's going to dig really hard here, and then it's that not reading each other's minds, but just kind of like knowing what, where you're going to be, right? Just almost that connection of just like, I just know we've done this now enough. We've seen this exact situation. I know you're about to dig in the post there, and then I got to be maybe another step up so that I can go help you on yours. And we had a great one that we watched on Saturday in the first half where, like, you could just see it. Like, it was just five guys. That invisible string was there, right? Like, something happened up top, and that guy went to help, and then Bam went to help the wing, and then Mike Bell was out to grab the corner, and then Brandon dropped to take Mike. It was, like, perfect. And it's like that's what it should look like. But it takes time to do that. It takes time playing together. That Mike could read Bam and knew what Bam was about to do, and then Brandon could read Mike and knew what Mike was about to do, and then the next guy could read. It's getting that comfort level, and that really only comes with getting a lot of reps together and seeing each other, play after play after play.
Similar to that, 11 of the 12 forced turnovers were steals on Friday. How do those live ball turnovers impact your game plan and the flow that the offense is trying to get in?
Yeah, it's huge for us. I mean, again, we want to be as dangerous a team in the country when we get those. So, Jimmy had the scout. He talked about that points off turnovers is sometimes a misleading stat on the stat sheet, because that doesn't always necessarily mean live ball turnover. It can mean like they travel, you go down and run 29 seconds on the shot clock and score, and they'll give you points off a turnover, which isn't not really a true stat, but Dayton very much plays off that, right? They wanted to play off of steals and getting out transition and doing those things. So those games where they had struggled, they were outscored points off turnovers. So that was a big deal. Again, not something like we overemphasized, but something we did bring up in the scout, like, hey, this is important. And then being in those gaps, being there for those gap strips, again, it goes back to the previous questions, like, it's just having that comfort level with each other. And then I know I can be there because I know that next guy's going to get out. If I get stuck, I know he's going to get there. That trust is built. And again, it takes time to build that. But for us, yeah, anytime we can get those and get out in transitions, usually good things are going to happen.
How have you seen the scheme change